Thank you so much. Let's get this giant crowd, if they can. I think that we have a common theme this morning. And the common theme is that Cookie Chira, the matriarch of this family, has allowed Safe, as you can see by the crowd, the care that this community has for Safe. If there was an organization, Cookie, that Stanley loved, because he loved all of them like me, and he loved everyone like me, and he cared about the fabric of what this community was. But we have to say the truth, that Safe was his baby, because he founded it. And I did that because for Stanley, it was just like that. Because that's the way he did things, with ease, with his intelligence, with that quick wit and mind. And who would have known, and who would have thought 20 years ago that Safe would turn out into the organization that it has? I wouldn't have. You wouldn't have. Because that happens to people that have the gift of vision. And that's what Stanley possessed, the gift of vision. He knew. So, good morning, everybody. We want to have a good time. I know it's about Safe. I understand. But at the same time, we got to all thank ourselves for being here, for being a part of this, for being a part of this community, for being so thankful that we could be on the giving end, to be so thankful that we have our neighbors, our friends, our family. Tonight is Shabbat. We have organizations through and through and through this community looking after us from this side and this side and this side and this side. And that's why we come out. And that's what we're all about. So we changed up the program a little bit. Our president, Jimmy, I call him the chairman, Charlie. I renamed him. Charlie T. came to see me 10 days ago. I hope you're going to like and enjoy the program. Sit back. We're going to start, as soon as I step away, we're going to start with a video. We're going to start the morning. We're not going to put the video in the middle. Change things up, right? Every year we do something different. So we're going to start with the video. But I did want to say one last thing before I come back up here and we go through this gorgeous program. And that is, Jimmy, you have brought so much energy. I'm watching you. I'm watching Charlie. I'm watching the board. I'm watching the way that Safe is evolving. And all the presidents were good. Actually, we're all good in our own way. Every one of us has immense value. But when I see you, and when you hug me, and when you talk to me, whether it's on the phone or in person, you have this calling that I don't know where God has bestowed it on you for Safe, but we are so lucky. We're so lucky to have you as the president. You're doing an unbelievable job, Jimmy added. I want to give you and your family, your wife and your kids, our blessing. I'm going to give it for all of us, the whole community, that you should have everything that you desire. And you know what? Accept it, because we all need things, all of us, in every which way. So we bless you for all the good and the health, the peace and the happiness, and parnasah, so you can spend as much time as you need to on this community, helping to build. Ike, we love you. You were the guy that Stanley met that day. You were the guy, as I say, on the side of the road that he helped to get to this destination, Ike Dweck. God should bless you for I think the most important reason for hanging in there, you are resilient, young man. And we tip our hat to you, my friend. We tip our hat. Thank you for this guidance. Jimmy, let's take it.
Today will go down in the annals of our community as a momentous day. Today will be the day that we will look back on 5, 10, and surely 20 years from now, as the day SAFE raised its budget and started to help members of our community in a very large manner.
So it's 2003. I had just decided to leave Bikur Cholim to help people with addictions, drug, alcohol, and gambling addictions. So I call Stanley and I said, "Hey Stanley, it's Ike Dweck. I need to see you." He says, "What do you want?" I said, "Could we talk in person?" He goes, "Okay, Friday morning, you come to the house, no problem." So I get to the house and we go outside to the backyard, and I look at him. I said, "Stan, I don't know if you know what I do, but I help people with addictions." He goes, "Okay, no problem, I'm in." I said, "No, I gotta borrow your backyard to have a fundraiser." And he looks at me, he says, "I told you, it's done." I said, "But we have to have your friends, we have to raise some money." He goes, "If I tell you it's done, it's done."
About 6 weeks ago, he says, "Stanley, listen, some Friday, maybe for an hour, we'll bring a few people to your house. But this thing, you know what I do, right? Safe with kids and drugs. Just, I do whatever you want." It's a little more than a few people.
When Stanley first asked me to do the first annual event, I didn't even know what he was talking about. What is SAFE? And he said, "Whatever it is, it's going to be in our house. So I'm just asking you to be proper."
Then we had our first fundraiser in 2003. The community didn't have any fundraisers of this kind ever, and it was really amazing. Stanley brought all his friends, all 250 friends. We raised about $1.5 million that first year, and at the end of the event, he looks at me and says, "What else? Do you need anything else from me?" He says, "All I gotta tell you is if anytime you need me for anything, count me in." So Stanley just didn't give us his backyard. He would pick up that mic and point to you after all the speeches were done and says, "Okay, how much are you giving? That's not enough. They need more."
I'm pretty heavy-handed, so you better give it before I ask you.
And it was really amazing how he would really carry the fundraising alone. We didn't know how to make this happen, but Stanley had a purpose. He knew exactly what was necessary to raise the money to run this organization.
So when Stanley got involved with SAFE, he went around the room and he made sure that it wasn't a taboo to be there.
Honestly, only someone with the gravitas, someone with the reputation of Mr. Stanley Chira could even get an organization dealing with these issues, with alcoholism, substance abuse, gambling disorders, off the ground.
He did way more than just, host it and write a check. He made it a point to make sure that every single one of his friends that were invited to his house every weekend showed up. And he made it a conversation at every dinner table with his friends. He made it as a conversation poolside. I remember just sitting around his house and on a Sunday, and his friends would be over and they would talk about it and they would debate it. Some of his friends challenged him, saying, "What do we need this for?" And in true Stanley style, he stood up and he kind of debated it and until they eventually gave in.
We have a problem. It's not about how rich you are, what school you attend to. It's all about the parents controlling your children. It's about peer pressure and opening the doors and speaking to our children and letting them come in and talk to us and make it not uncomfortable for them to come and speak about their problems.
My grandfather, may he rest in peace, was unapologetic about doing the right thing. No matter who it offended, no matter who it upset, no matter sort of what social repercussions may have come from it. I know that if he believed that something was right, he went for it.
Our community has recently been plagued with a number of incidents concerning underage drinking at private parties. Although one incident involving underage drinking is too much, this summer 19 children have been sent or taken to the hospital unconscious or semi-comatose with alcohol poisoning. Because I don't want to hear the excuses, well, I made this party and 3 people got married from it. That's baloney. They'll get married anyhow. They get better than 1 life lost.
So Zach Gindy was our first president, and after he moved on, Ike Chira was the president of SAFE for 10 years. Took us through some very challenging times during the recession and was very helpful to get SAFE onto that next level.
The first initiative as president I wanted to do was really get a building. I really wanted to provide a home for Ike and the team to do the work that they needed to do, and I wanted to have a place that people can go with dignity and be able to take care of, whatever needs they had.
Ike Chira had a tremendous impact as president of SAFE. We purchased our first building with Ike at the helm as president, and he was able to raise a lot of money for us to purchase that building. He helped us get through the first recession in 2009, 2010, as well as expanding our Project SAFE school program. Ike was a big champion of making sure that we educate our community children. The one great part of Stanley was that over the years I always needed some help, some guidance. And I would pick up the phone at no matter what time, he would always just pick up. Yeah, what do you want? What do you need?
When I took on as president, he always gave me the confidence and the backbone to push the envelope, to have the conversations with people, to not back down if it wasn't popular.
He really never spoke about anything like this to people, especially our family. He kept everything quiet, and that was one of his wonderful traits, that he helped people through the years. I knew he had many sleepless nights, but he really never divulged any problems that people had.
Since we started in 2001, I was one person for the first couple of years. I was doing interventions, I was taking people to inpatient rehabilitation centers, I was doing therapy, I was doing all that kind of stuff. You fast forward 20 years to today, we have 25 employees at SAFE, doctors, family counselors, clinicians. We have an office in Jersey.
It's pretty incredible to see where the organization has come to today. We've served over 9,000 clients. We're operating in 2 states. We're operating in 12 schools, educating so many thousands of students. And the biggest thing that hits me is that it's no longer a taboo conversation.
I think we've all seen the tremendous evolution of SAFE. It sort of started as this small, almost like a Mossad type agency where my uncle Ike was really just helping people on a one-on-one basis. It then grew, and he was able to bring people along, and then it became an organization. And now I think we're not just an organization that helps people with addiction, but there's so many different aspects, and a lot of those have some of the same stigma that we saw with addiction early on. But SAFE is built for this. I remember giving a speech at my grandfather's Arayat, and I spoke a little bit about what it meant to have my grandfather's name. I realized that it's a responsibility to continue to carry on his legacy. After I gave that speech at my grandfather's Arayat, I literally left the shul. I remember being in Allenhurst shul. I walked out of the shul, and I called my Uncle Ike on the phone, and I said, I'm ready.
Seeing my grandchildren emulate their grandfather, it makes me very, very proud.
I personally am forever grateful to Cookie, Stanley, and the Chira family for all their help, love, and support of the SAFE Foundation.
Now that it is the 20th anniversary, I felt it very important to do it in memory of Stanley, alav shalom, and that it would be very meaningful to do it in our home as it was the first SAFE meeting.
I can't tell you how excited and grateful I am to be back 20 years later from where it all started in 2003 at the home of Cookie and Stanley Chira.
Being in this backyard, I think a lot of people are starting to see in the last few years what kind of leader my grandmother is. And I think that sometimes she got a little bit hidden in the background because my grandfather had such an amazing and large presence, but you're seeing that my grandmother is just as much of a leader, just maybe with a little bit of a different style and maybe some softer language. But this is her backyard. This is the house that she always ran, the house that she kept running, and it's important to her that we do this here, and it's just a testament to how amazing she is, and she's the leader of our family today, and we're very lucky to have her.
Baruch Hashem, it's a beautiful night. I want you all to enjoy some dessert now and enjoy the night. Thanks for coming.
Although he's no longer here, we feel Stanley's impact every day. There's not a person that goes through SAFE that Stanley didn't have a hand and a mitzvah of helping them.
There's no doubt that my father is looking down on us, smiling, for continuing what he started. If my father was here today, he'd be passing the mic around, pressuring you all to give big checks. So for those of you who have given in the past, we thank you, but we need your support more than ever, and give as much as you can because they could use the help.
And today I really call on everyone to try and help support this very, very, very important project.
One minute. Actually, one day, we're going to do a video, because I know a lot of people here in this room would love that, like that, and then do the fundraiser and send everybody home. But this morning, we're evolving. We have a program. Before I call up the president, these things, for me, they happen, as you can see. I saw something, and when I put something in this kind of plastic, it means a lot. And I think that it applies. I didn't write it. I think it applies to Stanley. And I want to put it out there into this universe for him today, to you, Cookie, to hear this, and for everyone in the community. And when you hear this, I think it'll say a lot, if not all. And some of you have seen it before, but this morning, it's for Stanley. The value of a person is not what he owns, but what he gives. What matters is not what you achieve, but what you contribute. What matters is not what was possessed, but what you left behind. What matters is not how long you live, but how meaningful your life is. The most important thing is not how many people you know, but how many people remember you and miss you. So, I love that man. I now have the pleasure to call up the man I spoke about, Mr. James Jimmy Haddad. Come on up, Mr. President. Take it from here.
Thank you, Harry. I want you to believe everything he just said that he read from that card, and nothing that he said about me. I want to thank Mrs. Chira. Please accept this gift. I'm going to call her up, from the SAFE Foundation, in recognition of our eternal gratitude to you and your husband, Mr. Stanley Chira, alav shalom, for your steadfast and unwavering support of SAFE. Year after year after year after year, saving hundreds of community lives and families suffering from addiction. It's inspirational to everyone how you continue to carry the entire community on your shoulders. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. It's a testament to my husband, Stanley, Alava Shalom. We miss him so much, but I know he's here with us, and I know he would want me to do this. And I'm doing this and welcome you all here with my open arms and my open heart to join me today in this very important, safe event. I know we would help people through the years with all the help and monetary needs that they need, but it's well needed, and I know you'll all reach out and make this community a better and safer community for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Thank you all for coming. I love you all. I know I opened it. Thank you.
She's a natural. I'm now going to introduce Mr. Gil Carney, the CEO of BHI Bank. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but on the screen behind me, we're rotating old pictures over the past 20 years. And there's actually two constants in those pictures. The first is Mr. Stanley Chira. The second is, it's Bank Hapoalim when it started, and it was BHI Bank afterwards. You'll notice their logo and their support has been steadfast just as well for the SAFE Foundation for the last 13 years. They're an incredible sponsor. They've donated over $500,000 to the SAFE Foundation over that period of time. They're an incredible partner. SAFE's approach to treating addiction is a family-based program. BHI is a natural partner. You bank with them, it's like banking with family as well. Gil, please come on up. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead. Almost speechless after these words. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to join you today and mark my third year at the annual SAFE Foundation Summer Breakfast. As you heard before, Bank Hapoalim is already supporting more than 12 years, 13 years this year. For me, it's the third year, and I'm honored to be here. This is an especially exciting day as we are here to celebrate SAFE's landmark of 28th year. I'd like to extend our gratitude to Cookie Chera, thank you, for welcoming us. The late Mr. Chera and Mrs. Chera opened their home for the first SAFE fundraiser in 2003 and continue to do so for over a dozen years. BHI is proud to be partner with SAFE, and we sincerely appreciate the work of the SAFE Foundation. Your steadfast dedication is a truly remarkable undertaking, particularly in times characterized by uncertainty. The importance of your effort has only become more significant as the need for support and guidance in overcoming addiction becomes increasingly crucial. At the heart of BHI operations, both in Israel and in the US, lies firm commitment to the volunteerism and meaningful engagement. We appreciate the genuine personal and business connection made within the communities we so proudly serve. As a relationship bank, we recognize that our collective achievements and future successes are reliant on support of others. On behalf of the entire BHI team, I extend our heartfelt recognition and gratitude to the dedication professional staff, volunteers, and members of SAFE. Your tireless efforts do not go unnoticed. The privilege of getting to know each of you has only reinforced the alignment of SAFE objectives and BHI mission. We are proud to be your partner and remain a committed champion of these amazing things you do every day. I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this important journey alongside all of you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. It's really a special relationship. We appreciate it. Several years ago, when meeting with our landscape architect, as we were building our home up the road, I clearly recall him telling me, "Mr. Haddad, you have a problem. Nothing grows by the ocean." Well, we are here all today standing in living defiance of that statement. 20 years ago on this very spot, seeds were indeed planted for a community organization to deal with the growing problem of the disease of addiction. Although I'm not so sure that even they realized just how critical it was to get this organization off the ground. Over the past 20 years, SAFE has treated over 8,000 clients in that time. These were incredible, truly visionary men and women who came together to address a problem they were starting to see develop in the community with underage drinking and drug use. 20 years ago, that was a problem with 18 and 19-year-olds jumping the gun by a couple of years to have a drink. Today, SAFE is dealing with 13 and 14-year-olds barely past their bar mitzvahs, getting drunk in their freshman year of high school, sneaking alcohol in water bottles, drinking at the pregame, the party, the post-party, and the post-post party. 20 years ago, drugs and marijuana were illegal products procured in a street alley on the cover of darkness, not available at your local 7-Eleven in your favorite fruit flavors. 20 years ago, the threat of death from taking drugs was a result of becoming an addict over the course of years, not an instantaneous death from a one-time ingestion of a fentanyl-laced pill. 20 years ago, gambling was an issue at some underground parlor by meeting a shady bookie or a 2-hour drive away in Atlantic City, not something legal and available at arm's reach on your phone and laptop and relentlessly promoted on TV and sports arenas every moment. As I said, this special group of men and women were visionaries, but I find it hard to imagine they could have dreamed that these would be the challenges we'd be facing in 2023. 2 nights ago, my wife and I were blessed to welcome our first grandchild into the world. Thank you. I didn't do the work. Amidst the joy and euphoria of the moment, I couldn't help but also worry. The world is changing at a rapid pace. The speed bumps that my wife and I encountered along the way were molehills compared to the mountains our kids will have to face when raising their children. When we went home at night, we were able to leave the pressures and stresses of the outside world behind. Today, with the advent of social media, being home no longer provides that same oasis. The influences and pitfalls of the outside world come home with our kids in the form of a 24-hour relentless news cycle in the palms of their hands. Fortunately, SAFE is there to educate our kids of these dangers, to equip our parents with the skills to handle these challenges, and most importantly, we are there, a community organization, to treat our family members who are battling the disease of addiction. Our family-based program has a success rate twice the state average, nearly 70%. I would love to be able to stand here and tell you we succeed 100% of the time. We don't. It's just not the nature of this disease. It does not have a cure. It has to be faced and battled and conquered every single day by those that are suffering within its clutches. So what do? We educate 3,000 students every single week in our schools. We treat 100 clients, active clients, at any one moment. We reach tens of thousands of community parents with public service announcements and special programming, bringing in industry professionals. We try to fight it on every front that we can. It's not a battle we're going to win. I shouldn't say that. It's not a war we're going to win, but it's a battle we need to fight. I want to be respectful of everyone's time here today, so I'm going to touch on just a couple of accomplishments and milestones that SAFE has achieved just this past year alone. Firstly, we received over 800 calls for help. It's a staggering figure. If we're a community of 50 to 60,000 people, it means we're 8 to 10,000 families. If we got 800 calls from people that are in distress, that's nearly 1 in 10 community families that are calling us just this year. As I've mentioned, no one wakes up after having one bad night and decides to call SAFE. These families are struggling with real and deep-rooted issues. SAFE is there to help. Our school division has introduced an incredibly successful voluntary after-school program that has really taken off. Kids are fighting to come to join voluntary after school. I don't know. It was not part of my DNA when I went to school. But it's incredible what these kids, they're begging us to change the program from 4 weeks to 8. We've revamped the curriculum, and we're touching topics like bullying, body image, and the dangers of e-cigarettes. And I want to really encourage everybody to use that term, e-cigarettes. I don't want to glamorize it like it's something cool by saying it's vaping. It's a cigarette. It will kill you if taken enough like a cigarette. We've successfully launched the Mindful Eating Project this year. We've enlisted 28 clients so far who we've placed into treatment for various eating disorders, and we just launched. This number is certain to grow as we continue to normalize the discussion around this closeted topic. We've begun to establish a collaborative relationship with Mount Sinai, who has a special eating disorder clinic in Manhattan. Safe Parenting has put together programming large and small with powerful speakers and experts, from a sold-out event with 400 people with Dr. Becky to small in-home workshops. I really encourage the parents here in this room. SAFE can do everything we can. Ultimately, it is the communication between parent and child that is going to make the difference in your kid's life. We're an office, we're a clinic. They're at home every day. Open the lines of communication. Finally, on a macro level, this past year, SAFE has completed the purchase of the building next door to our current clinic, enabling us to double our footprint in Brooklyn. This could not have happened without the help of several people who I am thrilled to thank. Firstly, Mr. Sam Sutton and Mr. Ronnie Towell of the SCF. They need a bigger applause than that. They work their asses off. Sorry for the language, but that's the Stanley coming out of me. I love it. I wish I was right at home. They work so very hard, so selflessly for everybody else's benefit that's here today. I also have to thank, sitting with us today, Senator Andrew Gernardus. Senator Gernardus has provided us with a $500,000 grant to purchase the building next door. Incredible. Impossible to do without him. Not here today is also State Senator Simcha Felder, who provided us with a $1 million grant to also purchase the building next door. None of this would have happened without their involvement, their personal dedication to SAFE, and Ronnie and Sam. They're really amazing community members, and I look up to them greatly. I've thrown around a lot of numbers in this speech. There's only one number I really want you to focus on. That number is 1. Quite frankly, alcohol, drugs, gambling, and eating disorders are the number 1 issues that's facing our teens, our tweens, our young adults, and our married children. It informs nearly all of their social decisions and their daily routines. whether the underlying cause is placing misguided importance on social media, trying to fit in, trying to keep up, the pressures of schoolwork, or family strife at home, they all ultimately manifest themselves in self-medicating, addiction-forming behaviors. Fortunately, through the prescience and dedication of people like Mr. Stanley Chira, Alav Shalom, and Ike Dweck, and community donors like you standing here in this room, SAFE is able to be there to help prevent and to treat our families and loved ones for the next 20 years to come and beyond. We have a $3 million budget that is 80% covered by your charitable donations. Please continue to support and donate to Give Safe. Thank you.
Not really one for sitting still on a mic. Can I get a handheld? Yeah? Yes. Ready? Relax. Harry. You know, I got here early this morning, and people were walking around, setting everything up. And I walked to this area over here, and I broke down quietly to myself. I'm not really much of a crier, as you probably all know. And I turned around, and I looked at Stanley in the sky, and I said, I know this is all you. I'm just a tool that you used me to help others. As I sit here right now in front of everybody and look at this crowd, most amazing community, most amazing people, everybody willing to help, everybody willing to do whatever is necessary to help others. You are the true winners, the true community members helping others. I thank you. I thank you for everybody else that needs a thanks. You see, my job's pretty easy. Somebody calls or somebody needs help. I go there, I yell at them, I beat them up, put them in rehab, put them in therapy. They're afraid at the beginning. And I always tell them, just take one step, I'll do the rest. And thank God. It's not a perfect science, addiction never is. But nothing could be done without everybody sitting here. Nothing could be done without the support, the love from everybody in our community. There's no community in this world like our community. I wrote a speech, just 2-3 pages. I don't want to be here. I want to go to the beach, play golf. I'm like you guys. I said, let me put it away. I don't want to read it. I just want to talk from my heart. And to watch that video, to see what Stanley, Cookie, the Chira family will forever, ever will be grateful to them. And I said, it's just going to be me off the cuff. So today, besides honoring Stanley, Cookie, and the Chira family, we're going to talk about honoring Marilyn and Joey Cabasso. You see, I met Joey. I got a call from somebody in the family about 20 years ago. Not the same Hollywood Joey. A little arrogant, messy, hair was not done. I remember walking into his house. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him. I'm sizing him up. I'm saying, I could take this guy down. He's high, he won't even know. He looks at me like, what are you doing in my house? I said, F you, I was invited. We started talking. We started to get to know each other. That was 20 years ago. Not only did Joe come into SAFE, his wife Marilyn come into SAFE. Not only did they come into SAFE, they became SAFE. The work that they do on behalf of SAFE today, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're calling me. On the way here today, Joey texts me, hey, listen, somebody got arrested, we need help. I said, Joey, could we wait an hour? We're getting ready to honor you. They're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're helping people. They're running Al-Anon meetings, AA meetings. People are in their house every Friday, summer, 5 o'clock. People reaching out for help. Joey calls me, okay, we got this guy, what can we do? How can we help him? Marilyn, every day she calls me, I got this wife, what do you think? I said, geez, where do they come from? It's a 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week job, and they're in, hook, line, and sinker. So, I know you didn't come to hear me, you've heard me before. I thank you, I'm humbled by this turnout. I'm humbled by carrying a torch for SAFE. I'm humbled by the board member, James, and the rest of the board members. I'm humbled to be part of something so great, a chesed mission, chesed. That's what this is, it's chesed. I'm grateful to all of you. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Joey, Marilyn first, okay? Marilyn, the boss has spoken. Use that one, easier.
Thank you, Ike. Okay, wow. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today to support the SAFE Foundation, which is something that is very close to my heart. Not everyone knows what goes on behind the scenes of the SAFE Foundation. I want to give you a little bit of what I do for SAFE because it is so special to me and very dear to my heart. I will take phone calls from women who have addiction in their family. I also run Al-Anon meetings every week in the SAFE building. I want to start by thanking my Aunt Cookie for hosting this very important event and for her generous nature, and to my Uncle Stanley, Alev HaShalom. I know he is truly here in spirit. I would always want to recognize his greatness even though he is not with us. I would like to thank my parents, Morris and Karen Chira. My dad is the one who stepped in that specific night that we'll never forget. My in-laws, sister-in-laws, and my sister Florence, who never judged the situation we were in and always supported us. Simone Dweck, wherever you are, my friend, I could not have done these Al-Anon meetings without your support. Also, of course, my husband Joey, who carves out time and effort out of his busy schedule, whose phone is open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. He's devoted to saving lives and puts his heart into these boys to help them see that life can get better. Last but certainly not least, Ike. I would like to thank you as well for letting me help, putting your trust in me, and for being tough on me at times, but only to teach me. You giving me this opportunity to help and support these women is so important to me and this community. So here we go. So about 6 years ago, I became very involved in Al-Anon and SAFE. For those of you who don't know, Al-Anon is a support group and network of individuals who may be affected by the addiction of their loved ones. I started to form an Al-Anon group because Ike told me there is a tremendous need in our community. I realized that just because Joey got sober didn't mean our marriage was going to become rainbows overnight. There were years of damage that was done. Through Joey's addiction in the first 6 years, there was no marriage. Bringing up my children was a complete blur. We had to start over, communicating, making regular life decisions, and spending time with each other, all the normal things couples are supposed to do. I was confused on how to have a healthy relationship and how I was supposed to act as a married couple because I was robbed of the early years. I want to thank Hashem for giving us the opportunity to have a second chance and making it through the toughest time. Not every story has an ending like ours. I realized the benefits of Al-Anon by speaking and connecting with other women who have experienced similar situations to mine. I needed to let these women know that it takes work on their part too. I have worked with women who are married from 2 years to 25 years, 30 years. I have found such meaning in speaking with other wives struggling with how to live with their addicted husband. I identify with them. I will offer advice, a listening ear, and reassurance that they are not alone. I will wake up to text messages from the middle of the night of women texting me, "I'm scared, he doesn't want to get help, he won't go away. How am I going to get through my day? How am I going to get through my life? My kids, what will they say? What will they think? Are they going to be okay?" You might be wondering why I'm emphasizing on the idea of women getting help, when clearly your spouse or child is considered the one with the problem. When I receive a call from a woman, they automatically would tell me, "Well, he's the one with the problem. Why do I need to go for help?" However, addiction is a family disease. We did not cause the addiction as wives. We cannot control the addiction, and we cannot cure the addiction. Again, you could never control your spouse. The fear of being alone, the fear of getting divorced, are a few reasons why women are afraid to call SAFE and ask for help. The fear that my children will be impacted with difficulty of getting married, or they will find out about their parents' addiction. The fear that our social lives will change if they can't participate in events that involve drinking. How will we go to dinner without a drink? How will we go on vacations? How will we go to parties without a drink or a party drug? The fear of maybe I'm overreacting, maybe his use is not so bad, maybe I'm crazy, or he only takes something on vacations. He doesn't really do it, any other part of the day. Through all of this, I make women feel comfortable enough to open up to me about everything in which we build a trusting relationship. Even though sometimes there aren't happy endings, there are divorces through addiction. They call me up and say, "Marilyn, I'll be okay," because Al-Anon and SAFE gave me the strength, the wisdom, and the tools to make these big decisions. It helped me and my children get through this. In the end, my goal is to build strength in these women so that whatever decisions they need to make, they will always have the courage to do it, whether good or bad. Joining the SAFE Support Network helps me grow every day, and it can give anyone, married, single, or divorced, who is struggling, the tools to conquer life's obstacles. Thank you.
Just one last speech, and we're done, James, right? I want to first and foremost thank everyone for coming to the 20th year anniversary of the SAFE Foundation. I also want to thank some of the most important people who always stuck by my side. I never gave up on me through the toughest times of my life. My parents, my in-laws, and my siblings. Without their support, I truly wouldn't be where I am today. There is one person in this room that saved my life. Without him, I wouldn't have achieved what I have to this day. Ike DeWeck. You are the one person who made the biggest impact on my life and changed it for the better. Thank you will never be enough. Finally, I couldn't do what I do and to help so many people without a team behind me. There are so many people in this room that I cannot name out loud, but you know who you are. All of you really helped me and our community by stepping up and helping anyone who is struggling. Last but not least, I want to thank everyone in our community, everybody here, for trusting my wife and I to do the work that we love to do, and that's helping people that are struggling in our community and making an impact. Here at the SAFE Foundation, we continue to remind the community that addiction shouldn't be a stigma. Addiction is no different than someone being sick with an illness. We are all good people, but we sometimes get caught up in the grips of addiction. At SAFE, we are here to help, and we see the good in every single person who walks in the door. I want to give you a little backstory on my life and what led me to the grips of addiction. When I was 13 years old, Purim came every year, and that is where we had a big party by my house with lots of drinking. Of course, my parents, like any others, didn't think much about it. The drinking continued into the next few years and escalated to fit in and be with the cool crew. At 17, I went to Israel for the year, and in my mind, I never wanted to do drugs. I was the ultimate never. To me, I wouldn't be that person. There I was on day one in Israel being offered marijuana by the cool crew, which I felt like I couldn't say no, because if I said no, I wouldn't be part of. From there, marijuana took over just like drinking did. I was doing it every day, which led me to being kicked out of school and sent back home. Being from a religious and well-respected family within the community, I don't think my parents would think that their son would be kicked out of school for drugs. It just goes to show you that it does happen to some of the best people in the community, which I witness day in and day out. Once I came home from being kicked out of school, I started to associate myself with another group of friends that did pills. Again, I said I would never touch a pill, just like I said it with marijuana. But the peer pressure set in, and there I was hooked. If I stood here and told you all my stories where drugs took me, we would be here all day, and probably multiple days. There is one story that stands out most. One Shabbat night, I went out with a few friends to pick up marijuana from a dealer's house. Unfortunately, my religion that was always so important to me took a backseat to drugs. I didn't care about Shabbat. I cared about getting high, because that is what addiction does to a person. That night turned into a nightmare, where there was a raid on the dealer's house. There we were on a Friday night, caught in the middle of this, arrested and brought to central booking without my parents even knowing, and that was probably the worst night of my life. To make a very long story shorter, I sat there and I swore I would never touch a drug again. I was let out on Saturday night without any charges against me. I was just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Without fail, I went right back to what I swore hours prior I would never do again. I was sitting there in that dirty jail cell with murderers, heroin addicts, you name it. I was sitting there and I remember praying, please just get me out of here. I'll never do it again. The moment I was released, I went and got high that night. You would think that I would stop, but nothing stopped me. What I thought would scare me straight absolutely did not. I continued just a few days later on vacation with a boatload of drugs with the boys because I could not say no. But now it was more of an addiction, and nothing was stopping me. I was so stuck, it almost felt like there was no way out. It just couldn't stop. I was getting into trouble, blacking out, car accidents, ruining relationships, etc. You name it, I was doing it. At a time in which it seemed like it couldn't get worse, it did, and it escalated, and I found myself experimenting with all different drugs and getting hooked on all of them. During this horrible time in my life, where it was just partying and drugs, I met my wife, and oh boy, she had no idea what she was getting herself into with me. But what she saw was a popular, fun guy from a good family. She was young, as most girls in our community are when they start dating. It showed she had no idea, like most don't. She didn't know about my issues and my addictions. She thought it was a little bit of pot, a pill here and there at a party. After 2 years, we got married without her parents even noticing my drug use. I believe they saw what kind of family I was from and would never think that I would be using drugs. I was able to hide everything I was doing and not show this side of me. This happens within the community every day, and I see it constantly, and it becomes a disaster of a marriage. And I get multiple phone calls. Is this guy good? Is that guy good? I don't know why they call me, but they call me. And I get these calls all day. After getting married, we moved to the city, and my drug addiction just got worse. She started to realize this wasn't just something I did from time to time at a party. There was a problem. This wasn't the end of my story, but just the beginning. 20 years ago is where my story started with SAFE. My addiction at the time was at an all-time high. That summer, I had my firstborn. If you ask me if I remember the birth of my son, I'd be lying to you if I said yes. This is how strong my addiction was. I gave up on one of the most important moments in my life to drugs. At that point, my family knew they had to come together and deal with my issues. The night before my son's bris is where my whole family was by my in-laws' house for that Zohar. At a time in my life where we were supposed to be celebrating my firstborn, but they were done with me. Sitting there threatening me to take away everything I have, including my son, my wife, and my career. Ike Dweck, at this point, was someone who came into my life for a reason. He came into my home the next morning and said, "Are you truly ready to change your life, or is this a waste of time?" I have that written, but he actually ripped me and killed me and said, I didn't even want to say the language, but I was scared. And I'm like, I gotta just say yes, because I was petrified. At that moment, I knew I was ready, but not sure if my mind was ready to give up. And the drugs and drinking fully. And one thing I want to add, when I was sitting there and my whole family went down on me, all I was thinking about was, oh my God, I can't do drugs with my friends anymore. That's how strong the peer pressure and the addiction gets you. I entered into SAFE when it was a small room in the SBH building. I was probably one of the first people to enter into the program. I put the work in with the support of SAFE, but a year and a half later, I felt like I needed to test the waters and have a drink. And that one drink led to drinking every night, and then turned my life around and back to a full-blown addiction. I let my family, my wife, Ike, and SAFE down. What I said I was ready to give up, looking back, that was just a play to get them off my back for the moment and possibly be able to do drugs and drink in moderation, which that never happens, and I've never seen an addict come in for help and try to go back and drink and do drugs in moderation. Never. That just doesn't work for someone with an addiction, and my life was back to where it was prior to entering SAFE. My wife saw it all happen again and called Ike back into my life. He was there without hesitation and again ripped me. At this point, I was sick mentally, I was sick and tired of being sick, but I was tired of letting everyone who means the most to me in my life. I was ready and willing to do whatever it takes with the SAFE to get my life back and put the past behind me. I want to ensure everyone in this room truly knows what SAFE is. SAFE is not just for the person with the addiction. SAFE is also for the family of an addict. And the people who are closest to them, my parents and my wife, came with me to SAFE and learned really what happened and why I did what I did in the past and how to deal with it. I stand here 16 years later telling my story. My story is why I'm here. SAFE was my lifeline. SAFE repaired my life and my relationships. SAFE gave me back a purpose. SAFE made me a better father to my 3 beautiful boys. SAFE made me move forward within our business and be successful. This isn't always the end to everyone's story that works with SAFE. The person needs to want to do all that SAFE has to offer and do it for themselves. I have seen many different outcomes, but that is because the person is not at the point where they need or want to change their own life. I have seen many marriages end in divorce. I have also attended many funerals of my best friends that died, that didn't want to help and lost the battle to the disease that not everyone wins. And I just want to add one thing. I promise you, I cannot count the amount of people in this community that have passed away from drug overdoses. You might not know it, the family might hide it because they are embarrassed, but I could count at least 50 people in the 20 years, and I am not making up a number, that have passed away from the age of 20 to 70 in this community and died because of a stupid pill. And it started only from drinking. It's a shame. I've seen and got many phone calls that you do not hear of kids overdosing in the community, 18, 19, and adults overdosing in the community. I am dealing with a case. The kid overdosed 3 times. He is 19 years old. You heard me, 19 years old. The last time he overdosed was in a shul on Ocean Parkway a couple of months ago. So I'm not making up these stories. This is a serious situation. You just don't hear about it, and people hide it. They hide it because they're embarrassed, but they don't understand that they could be saving their kid's life instead of protecting their name. I look at my life now and what it used to be. This gives me the drive and determination to help everyone. I look back and see that I wouldn't have become who I am today without getting better. I know Hashem gave me these prior experiences so that I can stand here today and help others. It goes without saying that this job never sleeps, and it isn't always the easiest. There are days where I get calls from parents in the middle of the night that their child needs help, and I step right in to intervene to get them what they need. Like Ike said, I was texting him this morning. I got a call at 7:30 a.m. from a mother crying, "Please help me. My son is 28. He's in jail in New York City. I have no idea why. The court officer called me. I need your help. Please." I get these calls constantly, daily. You just don't hear about it. It goes without saying, my phone is always ringing, and without hesitation, I will do whatever it takes. I think that anyone here that knows me, I put my own life and business on hold just to ensure I can help someone the way I was helped. There has been so many cases that have come to me that are truly unimaginable, things that would make your hair stand up. You wouldn't understand it. You wouldn't believe that it's happening in our community. I sometimes need to step in, not only to help the addict, but sometimes it is the parents, siblings, and the wife who need the strength in order to move forward. I make this job my #1 priority in my life because I know how precious life is. and it doesn't need to be taken away by an illness. I saw not only my own life being completely wrecked by illness, but my family's also. I want to ensure this isn't something that is going to continue within the community that means so much to me. Next to every man is a strong woman. My wife is there to show other women there are also life after addiction and how to manage through the hardest times. She, just like I am, is there to do whatever it takes to keep other women strong. There are some days she will sit on the phone with another wife for hours just because it might be a tough day. And I go, enough, enough. This person's calling you 6 times, but she still picks up the phone because she knows what it feels like, what she went through, and she only wants that person to get better and give her the strength. And God bless her. Me, I need to get people off the phone quick. Give me the information. Let me know, and she'll sit on the phone for hours. So God bless her. God bless her. She's got patience like a saint. She understands more than anyone because she lived it, and not everyone knows the feeling. As a board member of SAFE Foundation, which I never thought in a million years that would be me. I never thought I would be honored. I never thought I would get the respect. I was a nobody. I was a drug addict. I was a loser. It goes to show you, people could get better with the help of SAFE. Our community is one that needs someone 100%, and that is what me and my wife are there for. Beyond the meetings, we open our home ensuring that it is a welcoming and comfortable environment for those seeking help. We host meetings twice a week, and the countless hours that go into just one meeting couldn't be possible without my wife. She really, I have to say, who opens up their home on a Saturday during the winter, without fail, gets the food, sets up, and allows 20 to 30 addicts in her house so we could have a meeting. Or Friday, buys the mazza, sets it up by the pool, and welcomes 30 to 40 guys. And that's not just a fake number. We have 30 to 40 people, all different types of people, every week different rotation of people looking to get help. Learning from our own personal experience takes more than just leaving the toxic environment for 30 days. It takes support and guidance well after that time. SAFE is there with us, ensuring the addict continues on to recovery. Harry, I'm almost done. SAFE also just doesn't stop with someone who is already battling addiction. SAFE is there in every single one of our community schools, teaching our children from 5th to 12th grade about the effects of drugs and how to battle the peer pressure. I'm seeing children as young as 8th grade starting to use marijuana, which then is leading to the 12th graders using hallucinogens. And that's mushrooms, all sorts of drugs, what I see all day and hear. I myself speak in every community school to tell my story so kids can see how much drugs can affect their lives. I sometimes find myself telling my story and kids coming to me or calling me after and saying they didn't know that something like that could happen or that they have a problem already. This shows me now more than ever how much we need SAFE. As much as SAFE educates our kids, we need the support. Parents pushing as a positive force behind them not to go down their road. There are parents that are smoking pot and drinking, and I get the call of, my kid's smoking pot. I said, what do you want from me? You're smoking pot and you're telling them they shouldn't smoke pot and the kids know it. And there's thousands, I mean thousands, of parents in the community that are doing it. I'm sorry that I have to say this, but there's thousands and they expect their kid to be good. Parents should not even take the use of marijuana lightly and be naive and turn the blind eye to it, because an occasional use of marijuana could lead to my story. What I see in this community today is only becoming worse. It's scary to say what it could be like in 5 years without the SAFE Foundation. We have many challenges as a community. It is important to celebrate the lives we save. I have attended many weddings of people the birth of children, and the success in business. All who have overcome their addiction. This is why we do what we do and why SAFE is so important. It is the moment like these that remind us of the importance of our support and the impact we can have on addicts, families, and our community. Today, as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the SAFE Foundation, I know that my Uncle Stanley Chira, Alav HaShalom, though no longer with us, is in spirits, is joining us in spirits. And I am grateful to my Aunt Cookie for hosting this annual event. Please give her a round of applause. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today in support of such an important cause. My wife and I, along with the SAFE team, promise to provide this community with continued support. In order to continue the work for our community, we ask that we come together and ensure we can keep our community safe and supported. Thank you.
I'm gonna ask everybody, please, 10 more minutes. We need to do the fundraiser for SAFE. They wait all year long for this. Please, if everybody could give us the courtesy of 10 minutes just to go through the crowd to get the families. The way I'd like to do it this morning is once we resettle down, I'd like to get Jimmy and Charlie a microphone, please. I'd like to ask.
Guys, please give us 5 minutes of quiet, please. 5 minutes.
I'd like to ask.
Guys, please quiet for 5 more minutes. Appreciate your patience so far. Please, we beg you for quiet.
I'm going to have to wait a minute. I will not be successful. I will not get to do what I believe we need for SAFE, Charlie. I'm sorry. It just won't happen. It'll be drowned out.
Cookie.
Thank you, everybody. We really, really appreciate it. We put together our program specifically for this moment.
It's not working. Oh, okay. Everybody, thank you for coming, but please don't leave yet. We want to finish the program with success. For everybody here, please sit down and be quiet. And please, I appreciate it if you all give Harry a moment of silence.
Thank you, Cookie. Thank you. Okay, so here's the way we're going to do it. I would like to ask one member from each family, one person from each family, to please call out their family's dedication for SAFE. Okay? So, give me a mic. Please, give me a mic. I want to go around and ask a member from each family to give us their dedication for this year's $3 million budget for SAFE. Jimmy, give me that. Okay, I'm going to try. Sorry for me. Want to go? Let's go. The Haddad family, Michael and David Haddad, breaking the ice, $18,000. Thank you. Solomon Marciano just came over to me. My buddy Solomon, he's renewing in Harry Adme's honor, $20,000 to this year.
Rochelle and Eli Dweck, in honor of Jimmy, $10,000.
The Bailey, Jerome, and Harvard's families renewing their pledge this year, $18,000. Thank you, Joey. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, just for one more minute, we just ask. It's been only an hour and 8 minutes. Shh.
Stephen Feldman and Sons.
Hold on, Harry.
I'm trying.
Harry, hold on. Shh. Please. This is such an important moment right now.
Please, we need the money, and
we
this
need
is
your
why
help.
we're here.
Ike, I need 5-6 minutes.
We're getting them quiet for you.
I don't need it. Stephen Feldman and Sons, $10,000. Thank you.
Elliot and Annie Azrak, in honor of their daughter, And Jimmy, Diane, 10,000.
The Shaheba Family Foundation, thank you, Elliot, giving us $26,000 towards our budget, towards our shortfall. Thank you. And Ike and Elliot Shaheba adding to that $26,000 in honor of his neighbor Cookie, another $10,000. Thank you. Thank you. Fortune and David Edelstein, $18,000 in honor of the Cabassos.
Thank you, David.
Margie and Albert Bijou, $10,000. And another $3,600 in honor of Joey.
Stephen Hayim, 50,000.
Zvi Hayim, 52,000. Thank you.
52.
I need a minute. Jimmy. The Century 21 family giving you $50,000.
Wow.
And another $20,000 from Eddie Gindi and his family personally
Wow,
for being
Eddie,
a part of
thank you
SAFE.
so much. Thank you so much.
Attaboy, thank you.
No, you got to speak about Stanley. Come on.
Eddie and Monette Michon, 18,000.
Jack and Lottie Terzi, in honor of his Uncle Ike, $18,000, Ike, put it down.
Wow. Harry. Ralph wants the mic. Come on. The microphone loves you. Come on.
Morris, Bawaba, and family, in honor of his father-in-law, put him down for $18,000 this morning to save. Thank you. Leon Sakal, in honor of Joey in Maryland, but he has a little caveat. He's giving $10,000. He wants Joey Cabasso to know, you saved my life, Joey.
Ralph Nakash and Sons and family, $50,000. Ralph, 50,000. Shaul or Ariel and families.
How much?
50.
$50,000 to the Cash
Farouk and
family. Thank you.
Ralph wants to say something. Tell him.
Ike.
Harry.
Here I am. The Braca family is giving us $10,000. Thank you to the Braca family.
Thank you, Ivor.
Go, Ralph.
No, next time. I gave already the money.
Harry, you have the cards?
Renee Rofe and family, $10,000.
Yes. Thank you, Renee.
Just give me another couple of minutes.
Thank you.
Please.
Charles Swed. What do you got?
Got him.
Yes. Charles and Marcel Swed in honor of Lorraine Shaheba,
Thank you.
a board member of SAFE, and baby James Haddad, $5,200. Thank you, Charles.
Jimmy, put down Alan, Jamal, and family in memory of Stanley Chira.
Yes.
$10,000.
Yes, thank you, Alan. Thank you,
Ariel
Alan.
and Vivian Nakash, another 10,000. Honor Joey in Maryland.
Wow, Ariel. Thank you. Okay. I want to remind everybody that we have the 5K for the DD Empowerment coming up in August. And I think it's August 12th, in memory of David Duché and in support of the DD Empowerment Project, which is a program for SAFE graduates to stay sober through sobriety. Thank you, David Beta, president of SBH, who we work with all the time.
Serene and David Azar. Jimmy,
Yes.
$10,000.
Thank you, David.
Also,
Gabby and Lorraine.
Saul Ralph Towel. Whatever he gave, whatever, renew it. Send them a bill.
Fabulous.
Gabby
Thank
and
you,
Lorraine
Saul.
Shahebar, 5,200.
And Jimmy,
Yes.
put me and my wife and my brother down for the moment for $18,000. I will give you more privately, but put Harry and Alex Ajmi and their wives, $18,000.
Thank you,
for the
Harry.
moment.
Thank you, guys. Solomon Marciano, $20,000. Thank you so very much.
Chabi O'Fali,
Yes.
his partner Stephen, renew them for $10,000. Thank you.
Fabulous.
Jimmy and Helen Haber, 18,000. Thank you, Jimmy.
3,600.